Hi guys, this is page number 122. The previous question: what is the temperature inside the bowl mill of the pulverized unit? Answer: 75 to 90 degrees Celsius. Question: if it is raised above this range, what will happen? Answer: volatile matter of pulverized coal will quickly evaporate and there is a good chance of an explosion. Question: what determines this temperature range? Answer: coal's volatile matter. Question: if the ash content of the coal is high, will you increase or decrease the temperature? Answer: temperature should be raised. Question: which bearing, motor bearing or exhauster bearing of the bowl mill is likely to be damaged first? Answer: exhauster bearing. Question: why? Answer: coal particles erode into the fan blades, causing a defective balancing which will entail vibration of the journal, impairing the bearing. Question: one bowl mill feeds four burners placed at different locations in the boiler unit of SGP of a power plant. How is the same flow rate maintained all through? Answer: by placing orifices in each tube feeding pulverized coal to the burner. The flow through all tubes is made nearly constant. Flow is restricted most in the case of shortest tube. Case study: dew point corrosion of ID fans. Two PC-fired boilers of steam generation plant had been burning high sulfur FO for several years. It used to maintain FG temperature well above the dew point to avoid corrosion of ID fan blades. Recently, it has switched over to low sulfur oil to meet emission requirements. This fuel switch has texted the company to run at a higher operating cost. In order to reduce the cost through gain in efficiency, the plant wants to decrease the FG exit temperature down as close to the dew point as possible, even at risk of passing below it on occasional low loads. However, the plant engineers are concerned more about possible corrosion effect on the induced draft fan than on, on the air heaters. Under their consideration are the coating of plastics and metals, but they are not sure of the benefits or gravity of these coatings. Will these metal overlays ensure good results or have cracks in the base metal? The ID fans are not too well mounted. Vibration problems are to be avoided at all cost. Therefore, fan unbalance due to all blade corrosion is not acceptable at all. Question: how will the plastic coating stand up? What care is needed in applying them to fan rotors? Answer: coating is not at all an economical solution to the problem of corrosion considering the enormous size of the duct and ID fan itself. Thick coating is suitable for ducting and breaching but not for high speed fans, where a defecting in the coating degenerates to a crack and chips off the coating overlay explosion the base metal to corrosion. Some coatings have been reported to build up with deposits more than the original metal, and so the can get slowly become unbalanced. Nevertheless, many methods have been attempted to deter dew point corrosion in ID fans and air heater. Plastic coating tends to crack and are difficult to apply. Pinholes lead to serious corrosion below the coating. Hence, care must be taken in application of coating on ID fan blades. Contaminants must be carefully removed before coating is deposited. These contaminants are of two kinds: visible and invisible. Visible contaminants such as oils, grease, dust, dirt cause much less trouble than invisible ones such as alkalis, salts, acids and finger marks which when present under a plastic coating accelerate corrosion and blistering. Before the coating is applied to the blades, they must be rinsing with a solution at pH lesser than 5 maintained by a mixture of chromic and phosphoric acid. Painting the rotor with a good chemical is also a method of protection. Another protection against SO3 attack is the use of alkaline powder such as dolomite, magnesite, or lime fired with fuel and equal in amount to the ash of the fuel. The alkaline powder helps neutralize the H2SO4 and stops corrosion in addition to reduce deposition of particles. MgO slurry additives in the FO can reduce SO3 corrosion only if the XSR is below the 3 to 5% range. With higher XSR, the SO3 content in FG increases. Glass tubular air heaters are decidedly expensive and can cracks as can the ceramic on some tubes. For these reasons, probably the old remedy of keeping the fan inlet temperature 12 to 27 degree Kelvin above the dew point is the best. As such as hot air recirculation technique seems to be attractive. Install a recirculation fan to draw hot air at air heater hot end and introducing it to the FD fan discharge. Case study: ID fan failure. An ID fan of a PC fired unit firing 227 ton of coal fins per hour flew apart without warning, wrecking the housing ductwork on an adjacent boiler, breaching plus inflicting some damage to the bearings of the drive motor. The fan supplier explained that imbalancing resulting from deposits was partially responsible for this type of failure. The sort of happens once in a while. A company got a replacement and installed vibration indicator gauges instead of online instrumentation. Question 1. What are the possible cases that brought about the boiler fan disaster? 2. Do you think about vibration equipment adequate? 3. What steps do you suggest to prevent occurrence such as fan failure? 4. Do you specify boiler better fans? Answer. The likely cases fan blade failures are dirt and ash accumulation on fan blades, corrosion from ash abrasiveness, shaft corrosion because of dewing of FG condensable. These factors might have interacted giving rise to motor imbalance. Usually, the dirt and ash particles deposit equally on all blades. However, minor difference in deposition component or blade surface cause clumps of material to fly off and increase both vibration and metal stress until the blade fracture. Also, there could have been the following cases that could render fans to fly into pieces. 1. Excessive oil clearness causing oil spill, inadequate oil clearance causing high temperatures, drive coupling misalignment, assuming Babbitt sleeve bearings. Installation of vibration indicating equipment, vibration monitor, is a good idea, but not a good solution. For mere indication of vibration will not prevent damage. One good option is to integrate a vibration cage with a motor cutoff switch actuated by several vibrations. It will automatically trip the fan motor when the preset vibration limit is exceeded. Thus, the reting unwarranted fan failure. A better option is to harness proximity probe monitors. These low to moderate cost devices give easily interpreted and continuous monitoring of the ID fan. They can issue warning alarms and trip at actual levels. Preventive measures: mandatory dry penetration test every 3 to 5 years to check fan blade wells. Periodic vibration monitoring by using hand handled vibration monitor or horizontal, vertical and axial motion of fan and motor. Periodic checking with accelerometer pickups to get data and acceleration, peak frequencies and amplitudes over a spectrum. Reproduction of the data in form of graphs for visual display of vibration history of fan and motor for later comparison. Recording of bearing temperature in every shift. Periodic inspection of fan rotor for deposition and corrosion. Weekly inspection of oil slinger rings. Thank you.